Okay, today is April 11th, 2016. Uh, no actual trades today, though I did hold a swing, and then just going to go over a couple, one kind of interesting setup, and then a couple misses that, you know, I guess it is what it is. But AVXL is the swing. This thing's just a perennial piece of shit. It popped pre-market Friday on some sort of BS PR. Kind of pulled out of the gate and then spiked again. I'd shorted in just over 6 with basically a risk on that pre-market high in the 620s, 630s. And then it pulled a little bit, faded, and then just really kind of closed pretty weak on Friday. Normally I'm very against holding over the weekend, but reading Twitter and stuff, there was just a lot of talk that this PR was complete crap. So I held it, and then it did exactly what I wanted out of the into the open. Thought hard about closing or covering in these 550s, but I just didn't have much else going on trading wise, and I was like, you know what, might as well let it work. And it pretty much, sideways but faded all day. Volumes really come out. It's below that, to me, that kind of key levels, that 540, 550 level. It's basically below that. I mean that's everybody that bought Friday pre-market, or I'm sure probably no new quote-unquote investors. It's probably all just bag holders. But if you were a new investor / trader, you're now upside down. The volume's coming out. So I expect a gap down tomorrow. If I get a good pull, then I'm out. Pretty pleased with that trade. I mean, lately I've been taking a little too quick of gains. I'm pleased with my patience on that one. LEI, I did not trade today just because I kept thinking about this on the long side, and it was ripping pre-market. And let me change my time frame a little bit here. So you had this big, rip from the mid 5s up to 7 pre-market. I kept thinking about going long just because it's so low float. I mean, you see it's 1.3 million float, but it's now day 3 of this run. So it's like I can't get myself to buy on day 3 a SCAMX stock, low float. So even though I thought about it in the 630s, I passed. I mean, it pushed over 7, but then faded all day. So in actuality, there's this, you can see there's right at 720, there's this triple top that it just can't get through. I foolishly had flipped my bias to thinking long, even though I knew better, even though I knew it's day 3, and the odds of this thing continuing are very slim. I should have just, and this is what I'll do next time, and I know this, but sometimes you got to relearn these things. It's one thing to look to go long this thing back here on day 1, and it's big volume, big move, low float, fine. But when you get a triple top and it's 3 days into this, and it's a piece of shit SCAMX stock, you got to stay short bias. So I fucked myself a little bit, but it never really ate shit totally. I mean, yeah, if you would have shorted into that triple top at 720, it goes all the way under 6, but yeah, just choppy. So lesson learned is as these things get old, you got to stay short bias. There's no point in being long biased on day 3. CPXX, this was, I had said in my pre-market plan, I'd said it in chat, Investors Underground chat, that I would short this for a late day fade if it couldn't go green. Well, what's it do? Kind of midday here, mid-morning, fails on 13, which is roughly green, and then fades all day. And I mean, all closed on the low 12s. Now, all midday, I was doing a lot of other things, business type things, but it's not a good excuse. I still should have traded this. I mean, I got too busy doing other things and missed it. So, but at the time I was like, hey, AVXL is working. No need to kind of over trade. So that's why I decided to pass. UEPS, okay, you got day one here. Not terribly low float, but big news, a private placement at at 1070s. I saw it in stocks to trade when it was, right away. I don't always follow the news, though I'm doing it more. And I saw this kind of pop up in the news feed and was like, maybe if it pulls back to 1020, I'll buy. Well, it pulled back to 1020, had a solid set risk on 10, where it kind of had, a whole dollar amount, and then it ripped. So, this is where, unlike LEI, that's day 3, I should have been all over this move, even if it is a small position, mainly because if you can get it in 1020, the odds are it's going to 1070 no matter what. Now, do you know it's going to go over 12? No way. But that's a pretty solid risk to reward to buy that pullback in anticipation that it goes to the price of that private placement. So, all in all, a good day. I just biggest thing was 2 things. My foolish flip on the bias on LEI. I should have been short bias. And then CPXX, I need to be able to, even if I'm doing other things, I need to be able to focus. I had alerts going off on this. I knew what it was doing. It's not like I can have an excuse that, I just missed it. I mean, I saw this thing do exactly what I want and chose not to trade it. So, see you tomorrow.